The angels say this message is for you. Someone has been placed on your path. Someone who carries deep feelings for you. Feelings they've struggled to put into words. Yet hesitation binds them, like a chain around the heart. They stand at the edge of confession, but something holds them back. And the angels are asking you to listen now, because what you are about to hear may open your eyes to the love story heaven has been weaving quietly in the background of your life. Love, after all, is never an accident. It is the divine language of God Himself, who orchestrates connections and intersections in ways far too mysterious for the human mind to predict. But while the threads are already tied, free will still lingers, and this person the angels are pointing toward is wrestling with fear. Fear of rejection, fear of timing, fear of whether you could ever feel the same. Tonight, we step into their heart. Tonight, we uncover why they hesitate and what your angels want you to know so you can recognize, prepare, and align with the love story God has been arranging. There are moments in life when silence speaks louder than words. You may have noticed it. The way their eyes linger extra long than usual, the way their presence seems to grow more attentive when you enter the room, the small details they remember, the small acts of kindness they give without expectation. Love, when true, is difficult to disguise. Yet, angels say this soul hesitates because vulnerability feels dangerous. Somewhere in their past, love left a scar. Someone they trusted deeply may have turned their heart into a battlefield. So now when they look at you, they feel the same stirring of hope, but also the echo of pain. The angels reveal this because they want you to know. Their silence is not indifference. Their hesitation is not a lack of love. It is the trembling pause of someone standing at the gates of their greatest blessing, but afraid to walk through. And perhaps without realizing it, you've been sensing their battle in your own spirit. Because when two souls are connected by divine design, emotions ripple across the invisible space between them. Sometimes what you think is just overthinking is actually your spirit tuning into theirs. Angels say the first reason this person is hesitating is fear of rejection. They admire you, maybe more than you realize. In their eyes, you shine with qualities they feel they do not deserve. They may have placed you on a pedestal so high that the idea of approaching feels terrifying. Imagine for a moment how they replay the thought. What if I tell them and they don't feel the same? What if I lose the closeness I already have? These questions echo in their heart like thunder. Your angels want you to know this because heaven sees not only your desires, but also the hidden struggles of those who are connected to your destiny. Love is never just about you. It's about the healing and transformation of two lives. And in this case, their hesitation is part of a larger spiritual process. For just as God has been shaping you, preparing you, and molding you into the person you are now, He has also been working in their heart, softening the fear, building the courage, and reminding them that perfect love casts out fear. The second reason angels reveal is timing. Divine timing is delicate. This person may feel that the season of their life right now isn't stable enough to open their heart. Maybe they carry responsibilities that weigh heavily. Maybe they are still closing doors to a past relationship. Maybe they are working on becoming more of the person they long to be, so when they do step forward, they can offer you the fullness of what they are meant to give. Their hesitation, then, is not avoidance. It is reverence. They sense that you are not someone to enter half-heartedly with. You are not someone to casually date and discard. You are someone marked with eternal significance. They feel it in their spirit, even if they cannot explain it. And so they wait. They hesitate. They hope for the right moment to come when words can spill from their lips without fear, without confusion, without restraint. But Angels also whisper a third reason, one that goes deeper. This hesitation may not just be about them, it may be about you. Perhaps God has been shielding you for a reason. Sometimes delay is protection. Sometimes silence is the sacred pause before destiny collides. There may still be lessons your soul needs to learn before this connection blooms. There may be healing you still need to embrace, because when two people are divinely assigned, heaven waits until both hearts are ready. Angels say, you have prayed for love, for companionship, for someone to see the depths of you and still choose you. But heaven wants to give you not just love, but lasting love. And so, patience has been your teacher. Delay has been your guardian. And this hesitation you feel from them is part of the greater unfolding. Now, imagine for a moment the scene behind the veil. Picture your angels leaning close, whispering courage into their heart. Picture God arranging circumstances, weaving encounters, nudging both of you closer. Every glance, every accidental brush of the hand, every conversation that lingers a little longer than usual, it is not random. These are breadcrumbs on the path of destiny. But heaven also wants you to know this. You are not powerless in this waiting. You are not just a spectator to their hesitation. You carry light, energy, and intention. You can pray. You can manifest. You can align your spirit to call forth clarity, confidence, and connection. The angels remind you love is a co-creation between heaven and earth. And though someone hesitates to speak, your openness, your faith, and your willingness to trust God's timing create the bridge that will help them find their courage. As you listen to this, perhaps their face has already appeared in your mind. Perhaps you know exactly who this person is. Or perhaps you only sense the vibration, the stirring, the intuition that someone unseen is watching, waiting, yearning. Either way, angels want you to hold hope. Do not fall into despair. Do not assume that silence means absence, for often the most beautiful stories are written in quiet chapters before the bold confession arrives. The angels say, keep your heart open, keep your faith strong, and prepare yourself, because soon their hesitation will break, their lips will speak, and the love that has been growing in silence will finally be born into words. There are whispers of love that do not come from lips, but from actions so subtle that only the Spirit can fully interpret them. Angels say that this person who hesitates to speak has already been speaking through signs, through behaviors, glances, gestures, and moments so ordinary that you may have overlooked them. Yet heaven wants you to look again, because hidden within the everyday is the evidence of their affection. Love, when planted in the soul, grows roots that eventually break through the surface, even if the voice remains silent. And right now, your angels are pointing you toward these roots, reminding you that silence is not absence, that hesitation is not indifference. In fact, sometimes silence is the greatest indicator of how deeply someone feels, because their heart cannot contain the intensity of their love in words, so it spills out in ways they cannot control. Think about the way their eyes find you in a crowded room. It is not casual, not accidental. It is as if their soul magnetizes toward yours without their permission. They may quickly look away when you notice, but the glance always returns. Angels say the eyes are the windows of the soul, and this person's soul is already reaching out to you. They cannot disguise it. When you are near, their attention sharpens, their focus narrows, their energy shifts. You may not realize it, but your spirit feels the pull. This is one of the earliest signs of divine love, an unspoken recognition that transcends logic. You might have also noticed how they remember the smallest things about you. Perhaps you mentioned a book in passing,
and weeks later they bring it up again. Perhaps you said you liked a certain flower, and suddenly they notice it everywhere and comment on it to you. Angels reveal that when someone is in love, their memory becomes a treasure chest, carefully storing away every detail about the person they adore. It is not effortful, it is natural, automatic, because their heart values you. And if you have seen this in them, know that it is not coincidence. Their hesitation may stop them from saying, "I love you," but their actions are already declaring, "I care, I see you, I remember you." Pay attention, too, to how their presence feels around you. Angels say that when love is real, it changes the atmosphere. Even if they are not speaking their feelings, their energy carries weight. Do you ever feel lighter when they walk into the room? Do you find yourself smiling for no reason, feeling comforted, or even more alive in their presence? That is not just chemistry, it is spiritual resonance. It is your soul recognizing the vibration of another soul aligned with your path. When they hesitate to speak, their spirit still radiates love, and your spirit is sensitive enough to detect it. Angels point to another hidden sign, their protectiveness. It may not always be dramatic, but it shows in small ways. Perhaps they subtly check if you made it home safely, or they worry when you seem stressed, or they offer help before you even ask. Love cannot stand by while the beloved suffers, even in silence. And so while their words are locked inside, their actions betray their heart. They want to be your shield, your support, your comfort, even if they hesitate to admit why. And then there is the way they linger. Lingering is one of love's greatest tells. They may linger in conversation, finding reasons to keep talking even when the practical topic has ended. They may linger in your presence, reluctant to say goodbye, prolonging the moment as if time bends around you. Lingering is not just about attraction, it is about the soul's unwillingness to part from what feels like home. And angels say that if you have noticed this lingering, it is because their heart is already bound to you. Sometimes the hidden signs are quieter still, a text that seems ordinary but is timed perfectly when you needed encouragement, a smile that appears when you are not even looking, a change in their tone when they speak your name. These are the brushstrokes of a love painting itself, slowly, secretly, across the canvas of your shared moments. And the angels want you to see these brushstrokes clearly, because doubt can blind you to what is already there. You may have asked yourself, am I imagining this? Am I overthinking? But angels whisper, you are not imagining. Your spirit is discerning the truth. The hesitation is real, but so is the love behind it. Why do the angels draw your attention to these hidden signs? Because they want to protect you from discouragement. It is easy, when faced with silence, to assume that nothing exists. It is easy to let insecurity whisper lies. They don't care. They don't notice me. I'm invisible. But heaven wants you to know that you are not invisible. You are seen, noticed, cherished, even if the words have not yet been spoken. The signs are heaven's way of showing you that love is alive, even if it is waiting in silence. Consider the story of Ruth and Boaz in Scripture. Ruth was diligent, faithful, and humble in her work, and Boaz noticed her long before he declared his intentions. He watched her, cared for her, protected her from a distance. His actions spoke long before his words did, and in time, God orchestrated their union at the right moment. In the same way, the person connected to you might already be acting out of love, even if they hesitate to voice it. Angels say, trust the signs. They are not coincidences. They are divine previews of what is to come. And here lies the deeper mystery. Love that is divinely ordained often begins in silence. Why? Because God tests the heart. He refines both souls in patience. He allows love to root itself in the unseen so that when it blooms, it cannot be easily uprooted by storms. What you see now, the lingering, the protectiveness, the remembering, is love in seed form. And the angels want you to water that seed with faith, not doubt, with gratitude, not fear. Because what you nurture in your heart grows in reality. Perhaps you have been waiting, wondering if you should move on, questioning whether what you feel is real. Angels say, pause. Do not run ahead of God's timing. Do not dismiss the signs. This person may be silent, but heaven is not. Heaven is already showing you the outlines of the love story being written. The details will come. The words will be spoken. But until then, let the signs be your comfort. Let yourself remember the way they looked at you that day, the way they showed up for you when you needed help, the way their energy shifts around you. Let these memories be like anchors for your hope. Angels remind you that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And right now, love is your unseen evidence. It is moving, growing, preparing, even if it hesitates at the surface. One day, this hesitation will break, and their words will confirm what their actions have already revealed. Until then, your role is simple but powerful. Stay aligned. Keep your heart open. Pray for clarity. Release fear. Walk in your worth. Because the moment heaven decides the time is right, hesitation will give way to courage, and love will speak in full.
If love were only about desire, if affection alone could open mouths and release confessions, then this story would already be written in bold letters. But angels say that love, in its purest form, often stumbles not because the feelings are weak, but because the fears are strong. And this is what you must understand. The person who hesitates to speak their love for you does not lack passion. They wrestle with shadows of fear that cloud their courage. Tonight we step into those shadows to uncover them, to see what has chained their voice, and to learn why heaven allows this hesitation to linger until healing comes. The first and most powerful fear is the fear of rejection. This person carries you in their heart as a treasure, as someone radiant, extraordinary, almost untouchable. In their eyes, you shine with a light they feel they cannot match. And so, though they long to step closer, fear whispers to them, "What if they do not feel the same? What if I lose even the closeness I already have? What if I open my heart and am met with silence?" Rejection is a wound so deep that even the possibility of it keeps many hearts imprisoned. Perhaps in their past, they offered their love openly only to have it dismissed, mocked, or betrayed. That memory has not left them. And so now, when their heart races at the thought of telling you, their mind chains them back with echoes of old pain. Angels want you to know this not to excuse their silence, but to help you see their humanity. Love is not withheld. It is trembling on the edge of confession, held hostage by fear. The second fear is vulnerability itself. To love is to expose the soul, to hand another person the power to wound you or heal you. For many, this feels like walking a tightrope without a net. This person hesitates because they know, once they confess, there is no retreat. Words cannot be unsaid. Vulnerability is terrifying when the stakes are this high. Angels whispered that this person's silence is actually proof of how much you mean to them. If you were anyone else, if you were temporary or casual in their heart, the words would have been easy. But because you are significant, because you carry weight in their destiny, they hesitate. Vulnerability with you feels like stepping into the Holy of Holies, a sacred space where only truth can live, and they are afraid of entering unprepared. Another fear that chains them is the fear of inadequacy. Angels reveal that this person looks at you and wonders if they have enough to offer. Do they earn enough? Are they stable enough? Do they have the spiritual maturity to match yours? Do they have the emotional capacity to love you as you deserve?
These questions swirl in their mind, feeding hesitation. In truth, they may feel unworthy of you. Their hesitation is not rejection, it is reverence. They want to bring their best, but they are still building that best. Heaven whispers to you, do not mistake their silence as lack of care. It may actually be a sign of the depth of their care, because they long to give you not just pieces of themselves, but their wholeness. There is also the fear of timing. Divine timing is a mystery that often collides with human impatience. This person may feel the pull toward you, but at the same time, they may see doors in their life still closing. Perhaps they are still recovering from the ashes of an old relationship. Perhaps they are focused on building their foundation, career, family responsibilities, spiritual growth. They hesitate because they sense that rushing could damage something meant to last. Angels say this fear of timing is not always a weakness, sometimes it is wisdom. Yet it also paralyzes them, leaving them caught between desire and caution. And then there is the fear born of spiritual warfare. Angels want you to know that love destined by God often draws opposition. The enemy of your soul despises union because union multiplies light. When two aligned souls come together, their prayers intensify, their impact expands, their lives reflect the beauty of Christ's covenant. This is why hesitation sometimes grows not just from personal wounds, but from unseen resistance. The enemy plants doubts, stirs insecurities, magnifies fears. They don't love you. You're not good enough. You'll only get hurt again. These lies play like poison in their mind, and so they hesitate, not realizing that the battlefield is spiritual as much as emotional. Your angels want you to cover this situation in prayer, because prayer clears the fog of fear and releases the courage needed for love to be spoken. One of the greatest biblical examples of hesitation is Moses. When God called him to speak, to lead, to declare destiny, Moses trembled. He feared rejection by the people. He feared inadequacy in speech. He feared the weight of his assignment. And yet, God did not see Moses' hesitation as disqualification. He saw it as part of the journey toward courage. In the same way, this person's hesitation does not mean they are not meant for you. It means they are being refined, like Moses, to step into their destiny with you when the time is right. Angels also reveal that fear of change plays a role. Love changes everything. Once spoken, feelings cannot be withdrawn. Once confessed, a new chapter begins. This person knows that if they admit their love for you, life will not be the same. And though they long for it, change is intimidating. What if they are not ready? What if they lose control? What if stepping into love means facing parts of themselves they have long avoided? This fear may not even be conscious, but it lingers like a shadow in their hesitation. You see, angels want you to understand that hesitation is not simple. It is layered, complex, woven of past wounds, present insecurities, and future uncertainties. But here is the hope. Fear is not eternal. Fear is temporary. Fear dissolves in the presence of love, truth, and divine timing. This hesitation will not last forever. For a scripture declares, perfect love casts out fear. And your angels remind you that heaven is already working to perfect this love, to burn away fear, and to bring forth courage. But here is your role, to stand firm in faith, to not let their hesitation plant seeds of doubt in your own heart, to not misinterpret their silence as rejection of your worth. You are worthy, beloved, radiant. Their fear is theirs, not yours. Do not take it personally. Instead, lift them in prayer. Surround them with light in your thoughts. Declare over them courage, healing, and clarity. For when you partner with heaven in this way, you become part of the process that breaks their chains. There will come a day when their fear will collapse like Jericho's walls and love will flow freely. And when that day comes, you will see that the hesitation was not wasted time. It was preparation. It was God ensuring that when they finally speak, it will be with sincerity, depth, and commitment that cannot be shaken. So hold on to hope.
Do not let impatience poison the process. Understand their fears, but do not carry them. Trust the angels who watch over both of you, who are guiding this love story with hands unseen. Fear may hold them silent today, but love is stronger than fear, and heaven is already writing the moment when their silence will break into confession.
There is a reason the angels have not rushed this story. There is a reason love has hovered in silence. A reason words have not yet been spoken. And that reason is divine timing. When heaven orchestrates a love story, it does not move according to human clocks, but according to eternal calendars. Angels say you must understand this mystery. What seems like delay is often preparation. What feels like hesitation in the natural is alignment in the spiritual. The person who loves you is not late, and you are not forgotten. Instead, God is arranging the stage, setting the scene, ensuring that when love finally enters the spotlight, it will not stumble under the weight of immaturity or incompleteness. Think of how the seasons move. Winter cannot be rushed into spring, no matter how much the earth longs for blossoms. Spring cannot leapfrog into autumn without first maturing through summer. Each season has its appointed time, and so does this love. Angels whisper that heaven is protecting you by withholding words until the soil of both your hearts is fertile enough to grow lasting roots. If love came too soon, it might collapse under the strain of unresolved wounds, unfinished healing, or unprepared circumstances. But because God's desire is not fleeting romance but enduring covenant, He allows silence to protect what He is building. You may feel the tension of waiting, the ache of uncertainty. You may wonder why, if love is real, it has not yet spoken. Angels say, do not misinterpret the silence. Silence is not absence. Silence is the sanctuary where God works unseen. In Scripture, Joseph's dreams were true from the beginning, but there was a season of silence before they came to pass. David was anointed king long before he wore the crown. Ruth gleaned in the fields before Boaz took her hand. Timing was the unseen thread weaving their destinies together, and now timing is weaving yours. But timing is not the only mystery at play. Angelic protection surrounds this love. The angels assigned to your journey are guarding not only your heart, but the heart of the one who hesitates to speak. They shield both of you from distractions, counterfeits, and detours that could derail the divine connection. Perhaps you have noticed that certain relationships or opportunities have mysteriously closed off in your life. Perhaps people who once held your attention no longer stir your spirit. Angels say that is not coincidence, it is protection. God is removing what could harm or delay your union, so that when this love finally blooms, it will have clear skies to flourish. Angelic protection also extends to your emotional readiness. Heaven knows that love, to last, must be met with healed hearts. If you or this person stepped into confession too soon, unhealed wounds could bleed into the relationship. Old insecurities could poison new trust. Angels are guarding you from premature exposure to avoid unnecessary heartbreak. They whisper courage into your spirit, reminding you to stay patient, reminding you that the blessing is worth the wait. Because what God protects, He intends to perfect. And here is a deeper truth. Hesitation itself may be part of that protection. The person who loves you may not be silent because of weakness, but because heaven is restraining them. Angels may be holding back their confession until certain doors close, certain growth unfolds, certain revelations reach your heart. Remember, delay does not equal denial. In fact, delay often equals destiny. Consider Abraham and Sarah. The promise of a child was theirs, yet heaven delayed its fulfillment. Why? Because divine timing demanded that when Isaac was born, no one could doubt it was God's doing. In the same way, angels hold this love in waiting until the timing is so precise, so undeniable, that when it happens, all glory goes to God. You will not question whether it was coincidence or chance. You will know heaven aligned it. During this time of divine timing, angels ask you to cultivate faith and readiness. Faith because without it, waiting can breed doubt. Readiness because love does not arrive to the unprepared. Ask yourself, if they spoke tomorrow, would you be ready? Is your heart healed enough to receive without fear? Is your spirit anchored enough to walk in covenant without insecurity? This season is not wasted. It is a sacred classroom. Heaven is teaching you how to love yourself, how to trust God, how to stand in patience, so that when love arrives, you will not sabotage it with fear or doubt. You may also notice divine synchronicities during this season. Numbers repeating, dreams vivid with messages, scriptures leaping from the page with uncanny relevance. These are the angel's way of assuring you the story is still on track. The hesitation you see does not mean heaven is silent. Heaven is speaking constantly, through signs, through whispers, through the alignment of your steps. Trust these signs. They are the footprints of angels guiding you closer to the appointed moment. And when the timing is right, hesitation will shatter. Angels reveal that courage will flood this person's heart in ways they cannot resist. Circumstances will align, conversations will unfold naturally, and what they struggle to say will pour out like water breaking through a dam. You will see how divine timing is never late and never early. It is always perfect. And you will realize that every day of silence, every moment of hesitation was not wasted time, but sacred preparation. Until then, let your prayers become the language of alignment. Pray not for rushing, but for readiness. Pray not for immediate words, but for mature love. Ask God to cover both of you with patience, wisdom, and courage. Ask your angels to shield this connection from counterfeit distractions. Ask for clarity, so that when the moment comes, both your hearts will recognize it without confusion. For angels say this clearly: what is meant for you cannot be stolen, delayed forever, or destroyed. What God has written into your destiny will unfold at its appointed time. The one who hesitates today will not hesitate forever. And when the veil of timing lifts, love will stand before you, undeniable and strong, protected by heaven's hand. So rest in this truth. Let go of anxiety. Release the fear of being forgotten. Trust the angels who walk beside you, because the love you long for is not drifting away. It is being guarded, nurtured, and prepared. Soon the silence will end, and when it does, you will see why the wait was necessary, why the protection was essential, and why divine timing is always the sweetest of miracles.
The angels say the silence you are living through right now is not just about them, it is about you. It is not only their heart that is being prepared, it is yours. For when someone finally confesses love, the weight of those words can shift the entire trajectory of both your lives. Heaven wants you ready, steady, and whole when that moment arrives. And so the angels ask you to enter into preparation, not the kind of preparation that exhausts the body, but the preparation of the spirit, the alignment of the soul, the cleansing of the heart, so that when love finally stands before you, you can receive it as the gift it truly is. The first step of preparation is healing. Ask yourself, are there scars from the past that still sting when touched? Old betrayals, abandoned promises, wounds left unspoken? Angels remind you that unhealed pain often becomes a filter through which we interpret new love. If you are not careful, you may misinterpret their actions, question their sincerity, or sabotage intimacy because of echoes from the past. Heaven calls you now to lay those wounds at the feet of God. Pray for His healing balm. Meditate on His word that says He makes all things new. Let your angels walk with you through forgiveness of those who hurt you, of yourself for mistakes, even of God if you carried secret disappointment. Healing is not forgetting, it is releasing. And the more you release, the freer your heart becomes to embrace the love that is coming. The second step is alignment. Manifestation is not about forcing or controlling outcomes. It is about aligning yourself with the vibration of what God has already promised. If this love is part of your destiny, then prepare your spirit by living as though it already exists. Walk in gratitude as if the confession has already been spoken. Speak affirmations over yourself. I am worthy of love. I am ready to receive. I am aligned with God's best for me. Gratitude and affirmation create an atmosphere where love can land safely. When you vibrate at the frequency of faith, you magnetize what heaven has already prepared. Angels also call you to prayer as a form of preparation. Not the prayer of desperation, but the prayer of partnership. Instead of asking, God, when will they speak? Shift your prayer to, God, prepare our hearts, protect our steps, align our timing. Give them courage, give me clarity. When you pray in this way, you become a co-creator with heaven, weaving your will with God's will, inviting angels to move freely on your behalf. And prayer does more than change circumstances. It changes you. It builds patience, deepens faith, and fills your heart with peace even before the answer comes. Another way to prepare is to step fully into your worth. Angels say this clearly. Love that is divinely ordained is not about filling your emptiness, it is about complementing your wholeness. Do not wait for their confession to validate your value. Walk in your identity now. Invest in your growth, pursue your passions, shine in your calling. When you stand tall in your worth, you become a safe harbor for love. The one who hesitates will find not just a partner, but a beacon of light, a soul radiant with God's presence. Visualization can also be a spiritual tool, not idle daydreaming, but holy imagination aligned with God's promises. Picture the moment when they finally gather courage, see the joy in their eyes, the trembling sincerity in their words. Feel the warmth in your heart as you receive it. Thank God for it as though it has already happened. This practice is not about forcing reality, it is about training your spirit to expect goodness, so that when it arrives, you will not resist it with fear or disbelief. The angels also remind you to guard your heart during this season. Guard it against impatience that whispers, "It will never happen." Guard it against comparison that says, "Others are finding love while you wait." Guard it against lies that say, "You are not enough." These are fiery darts of the enemy meant to weaken your faith. But as Ephesians tells us, take up the shield of faith with which you can extinguish every fiery dart. Speak truth over yourself daily. Surround yourself with uplifting voices, scripture, and angelic guidance. Create an atmosphere where your faith is fed, not drained. And while you prepare spiritually, also prepare practically. Ask yourself, how will my life shift when this confession comes? Am I ready to create space for love? Am I willing to compromise, to grow, to nurture a relationship? Love is not only about receiving, it is about giving. Prepare your routines, your boundaries, your lifestyle, so that love has room to live. Angels say this act of preparation signals to heaven that you are serious, that you are ready not just to wish for love, but to steward it. There is one final preparation, perhaps the most important: surrender. After you have prayed, healed, aligned, affirmed, and prepared, release it all back to God. Do not cling so tightly to the expectation that you strangle the blessing. Trust that if this person is truly divinely aligned with you, nothing can keep them from your path. And if heaven redirects, it is only because something even greater is in store. Surrender is not giving up, it is leaning fully into trust. It is saying, Lord, I trust your timing, your protection, and your plan. If this is meant for me, bring it forth. If it is not, guard me from it. That posture of surrender opens the floodgates of peace. And so angels bring this final message. The hesitation you see today is temporary. The silence you feel is not abandonment. It is preparation. Both of you are being refined, healed, aligned, and guarded. Soon the moment will come when their fear will break, when their lips will finally declare what their heart has been carrying all along. And when it does, you will see that the waiting was not in vain. You will see that God used this time to shape you, to strengthen you, to prepare you for a love that is not fragile, but enduring. So breathe deeply, rest in faith. Continue to walk as though the promise is already unfolding, because in truth it is. Heaven is closer than you think. Love is nearer than you imagine. The one who hesitates today will speak tomorrow. And when they do, you will step into the story God has been writing for you both all along. a story of love shielded by angels, ordained by heaven, and manifested in perfect timing.